I believe we are streaming online, Jane.
Hey!
Well, lovely to see you again, Jane.
Thank you.
It's such a delight for me. Last time we had the podcast, it was August 2020. A lot has happened then. Since then, the world we weren't sure at the time how things gonna pan out. And the good thing is we are both still here.
Yes.
We are live and kicking. So
yes, exactly that. We're engaged in the game of life. Hooray.
Absolutely. Now, before we start our conversation, which by the way I've been looking forward to, let me introduce you. I know a lot of people know you, but let me introduce you for the benefit of listeners who hasn't come across, which is unlikely because you're a Facebook, YouTube, and now a TikTok sensation.
Who knew?
And here comes the introduction. Jane Malyon, who is my guest today, has run a catering company and wedding venue with her husband, Roger. By the way, Roger is also getting his fair share from TikTok fans.
Yes, a bit too many.
yeah. And Jane is also a business and life coach. However, she began the English Cream Tea Company 11 years ago. That's an interesting story, really. After meeting an elderly lady who loved the British tradition of afternoon tea,
yes,
but could no longer physically travel to hotels. Jane had a light bulb moment and created a business that could deliver fresh, deluxe hampers of afternoon tea all over the mainland UK. And this simply wasn't available 11 years ago.
It wasn't.
And Jane, tell us a bit of your background, because you have a record, Guinness Book of Record.
Yes.
You delivered TEDx talks.
Yes.
TikTok. Tell us.
It's been an absolute journey, I can say. So pretty much from the first week of setting up the English Cream Tea Company, which was because of this lady who could no longer have afternoon tea. And I thought perhaps we could deliver it to her. And then it turns out it wasn't just this one lady that wants afternoon tea. And I put it on Facebook. I launched on Facebook. And within an hour, I got inquiries from 5 other countries. I promise that's true.
Wow.
As well as, Edinburgh and Cornwall and the whole country. And originally I was only planning to deliver to a sort of 20-mile radius of where we are, which I called the Scone zone, which tells you I call it Scone, not Scone, because you can't have a scones on. That's ridiculous. And suddenly realized, yes, I and this elderly lady are not the only ones who just love this great tradition. And in fact, Nelson Mandela called it Britain's greatest export.
Wow.
Fantastic. And it is all over the world, isn't it? So anyway, yes. So we embarked on a journey and it's been a wild ride, not always easy, but just, kind of thrilling. And my husband and I left it a little late in life to be embarking on a new adventure. Would have been better if we'd done it a few decades ago. But, what fun we've had. And it's led to getting a Guinness World Record for the largest tea party in the world.
Wow,
Hooray.
how amazing. Yeah.
Yes. And giving this TED talk about afternoon tea and how it could save the world, which of course it could.
It could, yes.
Yes, and writing a best-selling book. I mean, I didn't know it would be a bestseller, but it became a #1 Amazon hit. So I know, what an adventure. And we're still having the adventures, because you mentioned TikTok. That was only 5 weeks ago. And apparently we've had 123 million views.
Oh my God, 120 million. That's amazing.
TikTok have written to tell me that. And it's like, really? I don't know 120 million people, definitely. So what an adventure.
Well, you don't know them, but they certainly know you.
Yes.
And Roger.
Yes. It's so funny. All you see is Roger's hands preparing the food. My husband's the chef, really, out of the two of us, and I'm narrating it, you know. And now he's cutting the sandwiches, and I'm just doing the voiceover. But Roger's hands have become a thing in their own right, and people are saying, "I like Roger's hands," and can we see more of Roger and his hands? And one of my sons says, never let them see all of Roger. If they're very good, they might get a little bit of wrist. Anyway, we're having fun with it.
Is Roger thinking about trademarking his hands?
I wonder, or you know, was it Betty Grable or somebody who insured her legs for £1 million? Maybe Roger needs to insure his hands. He went and got a cut in the garden, you know, pruning roses. He went, oh, the hands.
Yeah, that's Roger hands, not any,
Yes.
not ordinary hands.
Yes.
How amazing!
Yes.
I mean, that's really, Jane. I know you. I mean, we've known each other since 2011 or 12, and
yes.
you know, and that's been quite a few years. And I know how energized you are, and how lovely, and also lively as well. But you know, what makes you go so energetic when even things may go down? And I mean, you know, in business, nothing is rosy, isn't it? You know, there are things that is we all know.
Yes.
Running one's business is not you know easy.
Yes.
So where do you get your energy? Share your secrets with us.
Well, I mostly try and think that even the bad days are what running a business includes. You are never going to get from, you know, 0 to 70 in your life, particularly in your business life, without running into hurdles.
Yeah.
So with a different business about 10 years ago, we got taken to court on a trumped up fake thing, but we got taken to court. And in the end, I just, instead of being really anxious, I just thought, well, this will be interesting. I've never been involved in a court case before.
Right.
I've never seen the process. And it was absolutely fascinating. Plus, we didn't lose. Even better.
Even better, yeah, absolutely.
But there's always, you know, something to tell people about, and there's always a silver lining. And mostly our world, it's filled with meeting charming, lovely people, and I am energized by other people. I like to be, you know, around others and helping them if I can. Yeah. But we all have off days, and that's when your team counts. You can't do it alone. I couldn't definitely do it alone. Not just Roger's hands are needed, but you know, we all have days when it's like, oh, what do we do? Yeah. And somebody to bounce around. We have a team that I treasure. Including our shareholders or my brother, or, you know, you can ask different people different things. Even you are Levent. If I had a query involving your sort of expertise, I know I could ask you. So
anytime,
exactly. So
it's always such a pleasure speaking with you, because you're one of these people. I'm not just saying this right now, but I always say it even to other people, is that whenever I speak to you, I feel like energized and motivated, and you know, everything looks much easier and simpler, you know. So you're one of these people, and thank you very much for being in my network.
Thank you. Well, I've got your back, and I think you might have mine, and that's what this is all about. I'll have everybody's backs, and you know, we'll help each other.
Absolutely. And I can see behind you a lovely room. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, we built this on in the last few years, and it's the secret sconery, but we will accept the secret sconery. And it's part of our packing barn. This is attached to a barn that we put all our hampers and fulfill our orders in. But we turn this into a tea room. It's not fully a tea room, it's part-time. And you have to pre-book for special events like the Queen's Jubilee. On 4th of June, we're doing something. And so we de-office it. It's like a scene from a movie. We take out everything office-based, and it turns into this flower-filled, gorgeous tea room. And you can just see a terrace outside, I think. And we have that area. Yes. Wow. So it's a chance for people to come and see where we are based and try our food and have a snoop around the shop as well.
Excellent. No, that looks lovely.
Thank you.
You mentioned that at the beginning, that when you made your product live in Facebook, you received orders from 5 different countries. And
yes.
Can you tell us what hurdles have you had regarding exporting?
Well, we had pre-Brexit hurdles, we've had post-Brexit hurdles.
Right.
And up to Brexit, we were able to send out our fresh afternoon tea hampers all over Europe, and we could get them there next day. And so most of our products, not all, are perishable. The ones that aren't would be jams and teas and my book and some kits, Scone baked kits and so on. And so those will go on longer journeys, but the ones involving smoked salmon sandwiches and cream cakes and meringues and things that need to be eaten more quickly, Brexit has changed things for that. Right. So we are still exporting certain items, but food has become difficult for there. It's actually easier for us to export to America. We still don't send the fresh cream. Right. And that would be a challenge. But we've got something called FDA status, which means we've jumped through the hoops, and they seem to be happy with us as a very tiny company. We're a micro business, but we can send some goods out there and they go down a treat.
Amazing, amazing. For the benefit of our listeners,
yes,
and people who are watching the live stream, the Brexit, what sort of, was it the regulations or was it the VAT? So what created a barrier for you to continue exporting to EU countries?
So we were very optimistic to begin with and carried on sending out our fresh afternoon tea hampers. So afternoon tea is predominantly what we do, not only, but mostly. But it needs to be delivered quickly. And you have to fill in lots and lots of forms about food items, of course you do. Right. Yes, and regulations. But we would do all of that. But even so, the hampers would get stuck at the ports.
Oh, right, I see.
I see. Or, for instance, we delivered 8 to Germany. We got them there. Only 1 ended up with a customer and 7 were held in the port for 3 months. Nobody wants an afternoon tea that's been in the ports for 3 months.
No. And so that's money, that's revenue loss for you.
Yes, it really is. We're very sorry that we can't deliver throughout Europe, because it turns out even the expats, the people that have moved to Spain or whatever, they're craving their bit of Britishness, and we can't deliver it to them now.
Well, let's hope that the international Department of International Trade finds some sort of answer to this, and in the future, because it must be affecting companies such as yourself. And it's somewhat a shame because, being a perishable foods, deciding an export market within close proximity must be important for you.
Yes. So that has given us a bit of a knock. I mean, there's still things we can do, as I say, either ambient goods, or I can deliver Zoom talks and cookery lessons and things for global companies. Sometimes a company might be an American-based one, but they have outlets over here and in Europe. And so sometimes we can find a way around it to reach out with that bit of Britishness that they might be wanting.
Wow, wasn't that amazing? Because you take the spirit of the afternoon tea across the Atlantic just on Zoom. That's how amazing that is. Is there a way your products can be used by international companies?
So we've been working with some international companies, and bearing in mind the new difficulties that we have. So quite often we will be able to deliver to everybody involved in England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. We can deal with those. And then we can try and find the equivalent foods or ingredients, if we're going to do an online baking thing, in whatever country. And then we will be demonstrating from here. So we can try and be inclusive in that way, or send out recipes and so on. So if we can't send actual food, we can still include these people in it. Right. And also, if they have, let's say, an American arriving in England, or somebody from another country arriving here and settling here for a while, they can have us deliver a welcome treat. Welcome to Britain.
Wow.
Here's our great tradition. And
Wow.
waiting in their rented house or their hotel room. So we can still reach out yes, a hug in a box to welcome these people.
I love that. Hug in a box. I love that. I love that. Now, you mentioned about 120 million views on your TikTok videos. And so I take it your social media audience is fairly international.
It really is. Yes.
How does it make you feel?
Well, I'm thrilled because it's so nice to reach abroad, but also I've got this voice, Levin, you can hear this voice, and lots of people associate it with being posh and toffee-nosed and snobby and all those negative things. And I promise I'm not those things, but I just have this voice. And the converse is, it turns out that this is the voice people in China and Japan and America want to hear when we're talking about royal matters and the Jubilee Tea Party and afternoon teas. So, in fact, my voice is better for the overseas market than for here, in a way.
I see.
But it's not me as such, it's the topic. People love all things related to afternoon tea. And it just happens that that's my thing with a capital T. So I can represent it as best I can.
How amazing. And, you know, it's obvious that millions of people are curious about the traditions in the UK, in Great Britain. And amazing that you're making them aware of that. How great.
Thank you. It has its hurdles because some words don't translate very well.
Such as, give us an example.
Well, we made a puff pastry plat, a sort of sweetmeat with Christmas mincemeat in. You know, mince pies that you'll get at Christmas, which is stewed fruits, of course, and a bit of spice and so on, or maybe cooked apple. And we make this sweet treat with it and cover it with icing. And we were demonstrating this. Well, our American friends really thought we were putting sweet icing onto minced meat. And this caused havoc on TikTok. People go, ooh, and showing the vomit emoji and so on. And even though I said this is sweet mincemeat, it didn't translate well. And then I did Welsh rarebit, which is a sort of posh cheese on toast. Rabbits on toast, So I may actually have to do a whole translation little video. Let alone clotted cream. That for some people is a revelation. They think I'm putting butter on, large quantities of butter, because clotted cream isn't easily available anywhere else. So I've just done a video on what is clotted cream.
I see.
It's very funny.
So that gives you even more subjects to make videos about. And even so, that's great because people they need to know. And the mince pies and I mean, it took me, I must admit, when I first come across mince pie, I said, well, Christmas mince pie.
Exactly.
So I can understand.
It's good for me too to realize that, wait, we are in a global workplace now. So I shouldn't make assumptions that everybody knows what mincemeat is or clotted cream or whatever. So it's learning for me as well.
So in your opinion, what kind of global appeal has afternoon tea has?
Well, I've been to a fair few countries, not as many as one of our sons who works for the circus. They travel around the world, Cirque du Soleil. But everywhere he goes, every country I've been to, you can find afternoon tea, sometimes called high tea. That's not right. But it's global, really, from Singapore to Australia, Canada, America, everywhere. The nice hotels make this offering, and it's a charming thing. So afternoon tea has a life force all of its own, and you'd have to go far and wide. I can't think of a country that doesn't have it. I've just come back from Cape Town, lucky me. Right. And of course, afternoon tea is just a delight there and a big thing in the hotels. And you have to pre-book weeks in advance. So it's global. It really is.
Amazing. And you're the right person to ask that question. What is the difference between cream tea and afternoon tea? Ooh. I'm sorry if I already asked you that question. Because
it's a good question. And it's another one that I have to deal with what translates across the ocean. So cream tea, I first of all have to say, is not putting cream into your tea, into your cup of tea. And I get a lot of this, and I get people saying, it's really nice, I put cream in my tea all the time. I go, oh, don't do that. So a cream tea, by definition, is a scone or scone, clotted cream if you can get it, if not like a whipped cream, jam, and a cup of tea. It is a scone, cream and jam, could have a bit of butter, and a cup of tea. Afternoon tea has savouries like sandwiches, maybe little cheese on toast or little smoked salmon blinis or treats like that, as well as cakes. Afternoon tea is an extravaganza. Right. Here in the Secret Sconery, our afternoon tea is 5 courses.
Wow.
Do not eat beforehand.
Sounds like it.
Yes.
Amazing. Now it makes total sense now, Jane. I'm glad I asked you that question.
Yes.
I know few companies who are, food manufacturers, and I know that with Brexit they are having certain barriers.
Yes.
What would be your advice to someone in your industry who is thinking about the international side but feeling a bit reluctant? So what would be your word of advice?
Well, I understand if you can have an agent in your country of choice. So I think, first of all, you should perhaps not try and do all the world, but know your market. And I know you're an advocate of that, and perhaps doing some research. But there may be ways around this with having an agent based in the country of your choice and working specifically in that way. I think that is a way to get around many of the hurdles with import and export. Now, we've not done that because we didn't have enough demand in any one country to go through that. But I think it can be done. So for me, I'm a bit scattergun, but I think I would advise someone else to be more focused. Which country? Do the research, have somebody at the other end ready to receive the goods and do the distribution. And especially if it's perishable goods, because you've got hurdles with the lorries queuing and all things. So forewarned is forearmed.
Excellent. No, I love that. Well, Jane, it's been total delight speaking with you.
Thank you.
And we'll put the your details and links to the English Cream Tea Company on the show notes. But for the benefit of listeners or people watching on live stream, could you tell us how could they get hold of your delightful afternoon tea?
Thank you. That's very, very kind of you. So our company is www.englishcreamtea.com. englishcreamtea.com. So that's where you'll find us, and even you'll find the Secret Sconery on there. And we'd love to help you. And any difficulties online, just give us a ring. We'll answer.
Absolutely. Jane, as always, it's been an absolute delight speaking with you. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences and insights.
My pleasure. Thank you, my dear.
All the best.
Thanks.
And maybe next time we'll have a chance to look at Roger's hands. Excellent.
Thank you, dear.
Goodbye.
Bye. Oh, thank you, Levin.
Thank you, Jane. It's really so great. It was, speaking with you so energized. I feel so energized. I was mumbling on my words, and
oh, bless you.
It's great. No, I love that. I love that. And you know what you said about the this online Zoom meetings, and that could be really something very appealing to people for the States.
Well, yes, I'm sure we haven't made the most of it, and there's lots more mileage to be had. Because I do public speaking, and I've been doing a bit of that online to Australia and so on. Of course, I have to get up at 4 a.m.
Oh, right, yeah.
You have that problem, but never mind. But yes, I'm sure we could do better than we already are, Levent.
Because it's that kind of therapeutical as well as kind of what's the word, like calming. It's a very calming thing, isn't it? You know,
Yes.
So it could be it will be a lot cheaper than therapy.
Well, yes.
So
I think you're on something there, because out of these people that comment on the TikTok thing, there's a huge number that talk about feeling safe when they're watching these videos, or they're hearing me talking about, and now you cut this up and then you do this, and they're watching Roger pouring the tea and things. And they're saying, can you adopt me? Can I come round?
I've seen this.
It's a world that people are less stable than they once were, with the war and with the COVID and back to work, not at back. Oh, I think people need reassurance and comfort at this stage. So I think you're absolutely on the money with what you said.
And also, TikTok, monetizing TikTok could be a great opportunity.
Well, I haven't done it yet. So I'm still exploring. This literally was, I think, maybe 5.5 weeks ago we launched. But I understand, yes, it is possible to monetize, or to become a creator who gets paid to demonstrate, you know, this is more than water. And there could be that side of it. But maybe there's other things I don't yet know about.
I think people can send you gifts.
Yes.
You know, I don't know what you have to make available, but people say, oh, okay, I'll just £1. You know, just send you £1. Can you imagine, like, people sending you £1, like 10,000 people just sending you £1?
Exactly, 123 million.
You know, even like 10% of them sends you a £1 or $1 or whatever their currency is. Because a lot of people, there's a guy there, but there's a number of people. One of them is like, all he talks about is like English language. And he finds very interesting things. You know, why do we say this? You know, the slang words and, you know, the cockneys and stuff.
Nice,
you know, people send him lots of gifts.
Nice.
And money as well. So
well, my little understanding, it really is little, is that I can't get the gifts if I'm online as a company, I think, but I can if I'm online as Jane, and you can switch between them. So I could do that. And also I have to set up a Stripe account, which I don't currently have.
It's very easy. Stripe is very easy peasy.
I have been sent gifts so far. I've been sent 35 cents.
Okay.
I'll have you know. So dinner's on me, Lemon.
But you see, I mean, that sort of audience, you should really monetize it.
Yes.
You know, and you know, Stripe account, but basically, Jane Malyon, you need to be as a brand yourself.
Yes, maybe that's
as well as the English Cream Tea. Wow.
Yes.
No, well, good luck with that, Jane. It's really,
Thank you. We'll see if
really, really amazing.
Honestly, my sons are going, Mom, you're out of control.
Nice. It's lovely. It's very, very encouraging.
Yes, thank you.
You know, finding, because we all need inspiration, don't we?
Yes.
We all need inspiration. Like you said, people need like safety and stuff that doesn't easily come nowadays. And I'm now even talking to you, I feel, you know, like energized and everything. So so you can monetize this definitely. You know,
right. You're my new agent. Hooray. Thank you, darling.
Okay, Jane. And we'll also do this as a podcast as well.
Yes.
But it's all gone live. It's been on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well.
All right, I'll keep sharing it. I put it on a few places and I'll do some more.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, Jane. My regards to Roger and have a great day.
And mine to the family. Thank you, darling.
Thank you. All the best. Bye-bye.